This is Richard Mitchell from Xbox360fanboy.com, and we're taking a look at Sacred 2. We got a chance to have a little bit of hands-on time with this at GDC, and as you can see, it's sort of your typical dungeon crawler, sort of a Diablo-style game. As the more discerning of you have probably figured out, it's a sequel to Sacred 1, which was released back in 2004 for the PC. And it's come a long way since we saw it last year at GDC. The graphics are much improved, the animations are better. It's still about 3 weeks behind the PC version, and we got a chance to see the PC version, which looks great, by the way. And it's, as I said, pretty typical. You just kind of walk around and you can slay bad guys and all that kind of thing. You can accept quests from your villagers, and if you've been looking for your dungeon crawling fix, I would say that Sacred 2 is probably going to give it to you. The character we're looking at right here is the Shadow Warrior, who's been brought back from the dead. He can pursue both the light and dark paths in the game. Here he is a little bit closer, complete with arrows sticking out of his neck. And he's really good at melee combat and things like that. Now the Seraphim, who was in the first game, is the only character who's back for Sacred 2, and we'll take a look at her in just a minute. One of the things they really wanted to show us while we were here is this drop-in, drop-out co-op that they've worked out. This is available locally or on Xbox Live. Up to 4 players can play at the same time, and one of the things that we were told is that the difficulty is entirely adaptive. As far as the game is concerned, all the time you are living in a multiplayer game, so that when a second person drops into the world, it adjusts the difficulty accordingly so that the enemies are harder to defeat and things like that. And this, of course, will scale the more players that you have. Here we see the Seraphim, who is the only character returning from the original Sacred, as we mentioned earlier. One of the things that distinguishes the Seraphim from the other characters is that she's only capable of pursuing the light path, and she can't pursue the dark path at all. You can also see that she has a pretty cool looking tiger mount, and every character has a specific mount that they get to ride around, and it increases their attack strength, and it boosts all of their spells, and everything you'd expect a mount to do. Now the folks at Ascaron were pretty keen to show us this environment, mostly to show off the fog effects. You'll notice that it kind of swirls around and follows the character as she runs back and forth. Certainly nothing earth-shattering. I don't think anyone's going to buy the game for the fog, but it's not a bad graphical effect. But you probably don't want to look at fog, so let's look at something fun. Mounts. You can see here the Shadow Warrior getting on top of his Hellhound, and some of the obvious benefits to mounts are that you can obviously move faster, you can your attacks are stronger, your spells are boosted, and you can take a look at this still frame, take a look at the detail. It doesn't look very comfortable to ride the Hellhound, I will have to say. But that's not really what it's about. It's about killing all of these guys. And you get another still shot. You can see that your mount is helping along with the attacks and makes them more powerful. Now what you're about to see is exclusively a debug trick, so don't go looking for that in the final game. And then we're going to be treated with a boss character here in a second. As you can see, this nicely detailed sort of beach environment, and then all of a sudden, holy crap, it's a giant snail, squid, kraken thing! Now the people at Ascaron wanted to make sure that we knew that the bosses have patterns that you have to overcome, and they're pretty smart. In other words, you know, just crowding around the front of it and hacking away probably isn't going to work. Obviously we can't tell that in this shot, as the monster appears to be turned off. But it's certainly a formidable boss, and we're looking forward to fighting the real thing. And one of the last things we got to look at were some of the environments in Sacred 2. Here you can see sort of a jungle environment. There's a statue in the middle there that looks like it was pulled from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Coming up, there is an orc shrine. And if you take a look at this one, you can see the differences. This one's a lot more crude than the previous shrine. Now, there are 22 square miles in the world of Alcaria, which is where Sacred 2 takes place, and we've been told that if you were to travel from the northwest corner all the way to the southeast corner, it would take approximately 6 hours real time. Additionally, every region has its own architectural style, so hopefully you'll never feel like you've been to the same place twice. And that's really all there is to know about Sacred 2 right now. It's looking very good, looking much better than it did a year ago. It promises dozens of hours of gameplay across 6 different character classes. And all of that is before you even begin to take into account the online co-op and PvP options available in the game. And if you take a look at the skill tree here, it looks like there's a lot of skills to learn, a lot of depth there, and all in all, it's looking like a pretty good game, and we can't wait to play it when it comes out later this year. Thanks for watching, and keep your eye on Xbox360fanboy.com for all the latest on Sacred 2.